Hey guys, it's Jen and welcome to today's video. Today I'm taking you on a trip back in time to when I waited on the Kardashian family, specifically Kourtney Kardashian and a couple of other celebrities to boot. This is the real life experience that I had with these celebrities, so if you're interested in hearing that and seeing the makeup look that I come up with, then stick around because we're about to get started right now. Hair's up, eyes are primed, and we're ready to get started. I'm going to play with this Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette today and we're just gonna have a little chat. It's gonna be fun. So, try not to use my stained mirror, but it may still happen. I just want to start the video by letting you guys know that I'm not the big Kardashian fan. I don't follow the family. I don't know a whole lot of facts about their lives or what, they're into or doing, this, that, or the other. I just know that I dealt with them in person and I know how they treated me and how they treated the people around me, and that's basically what the story is about today. So if you're a big fan and this offends you, hey, sorry, maybe you don't want to watch this video, but if you don't really care and you're interested to know what they were like in person and what it was like to wait on them, at least back then when they were a big deal. I don't know if they still are. Maybe they are. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I have no idea. But back then, this is what they were like, and I don't think that much has changed. It's just, if I had to venture a guess, I just don't imagine much has changed to this day, but who knows? Maybe. Hope springs eternal. So let's get started with the story. It was about, I want to say 2010, 2011, when I was working at this restaurant that I worked at for many, many years, and it was frequented by celebrities. A lot of famous people hung out there all the time. It was just the way it was. One day, Kourtney had come in. It was right around the time she had her first kid, and she had come in with her girlfriend, and they both had young kids with them. And we sat them down in a far off room that was separated from the restaurant because it wasn't super crowded. It was our little coffee room, and they were basically center stage at one of the round tables, and we were all in the back trying to figure out who was going to wait on them. And no one really wanted to, because I guess at the time, like I said, it was around the time when they were popular. People were really into them. And I feel like a lot of the kids, they were either a fan or they either really didn't like them. It was one or the other, and they just didn't feel comfortable waiting on the table. For me personally, even then, I didn't care. It didn't matter to me one way or the other. It was just like, okay, it wasn't a big deal to me, so I said I would go ahead and take care of it, and I did. So I went over to the table and kind of got things started, and initially when I walk up, you do the usual greeting and hi, how you doing? It's the usual yada yada, how's it going? Just the basic greeting. And they were both very dismissive, not very friendly at all, just kind of, they were cold. They just weren't very friendly. And I got the vibe right away. It's something that kind of, if you work with the public for any extended period of time, you're able to pick up on a vibe that customers, kind of give off, basically. It's just, you can tell if you can joke with someone, you can tell if you can, what a person's wanting and not wanting. After a while of doing it, it's pretty easy to get that feeling, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell right away that they wanted to be, just waited on quietly, no extra conversation, this, that, or the other, which is totally okay. I didn't have any interest in doing any of that. I wasn't trying to pursue any kind of lengthy conversation, just basically doing my job, just kind of feeling things out. But they were very curt, much more so than they needed to be. Specifically Kourtney, not so much the friend. I just remember Kourtney more than anything was just very, very curt. And any kind of questions or things I might have been asking, how about this, how about that, and asking and going over the menu or what you might want to start with, just was very curt and very, just kind of like had a hard kind of personality. I don't know how I want to say a certain word, but I'm not going to say the certain word, but I'm thinking a certain word, and I'm sure you can probably pick up on the word that I'm thinking, but I digress. So they place their order, and I'm, getting everything started. Already I'm thinking, I just want to get through it. I just want to make sure that they have what they need and, get things going. Because I can tell if there is a problem, it's going to be a problem. That's the vibe that I was getting right from the beginning of this whole experience. And just this one in particular that sticks out to me, because that's not the only time I've ever waited on her and her family, just to put that out there. But this specific story was like, this particular day, I wanted to make sure that I got things rocking and rolling as quickly as possible so that I could get them on their merry way. because I was not getting the good vibe. So I placed their order and I've got their starters and everything going, and I'm making sure that they have everything that they need. And my station that I had that day was on the complete opposite side of the restaurant. As I was taking care of them throughout their stay, they were running me back and forth. I don't know what it is, and it's not specifically the Kardashians that do this kind of thing. It's a lot of people that I've experienced over my time waiting tables, that there are people out there that just enjoy running you back and forth. They like to see servers go back and forth to, get stuff for them. I've never really understood it, but, it's just a strange kind of thing where you show up to the table and they request something, and then you go get it and you come back and, hey, can we get this? You go get it, you come back and, hey, can we get that? You go get it and, hey, oh, by the way, so it's not even I'd like with this table. They weren't even saying that. She wasn't saying I'd like to have this, I'd like to have that. She was coming up with new things. Every time I came back to the table, there was something else, and it was not in a friendly way of please, not even please. That's just me. Like, please, can I have blah, blah, blah. But I do it all at once, personally, so I don't run someone back and forth. But that's kind of, not even kind of, that's basically what they were doing the entire time that they were in the restaurant, is just running me back and forth, asking for this, asking for that. Not asking, but, putting in their requests, let's say it that way. And I was trying to do my best to make sure that they had everything that they needed. Because, again, it's that vibe that I was getting from them, is that Courtney, to me, seems like the kind of person that she would go out of her way to get you into trouble and make sure that it was known that she was this important person. This is the vibe that I got. Again, I don't know this woman personally, but it's the feeling that I got, is that she would definitely try to get you in as much trouble as she possibly could, because she, in my opinion, from my experience with her, felt like, at least at that time, that she was a very, very important human being. Like, really important. I was going back and forth while they were in the restaurant, making sure that I was checking on them, making sure they had all they need, going back and forth between my station. I was getting my butt kicked, basically. Getting my butt kicked. It was not fun for me. I was tired and I was annoyed, but hang on one sec. I want to cut my crease. I want to cut my crease today. I don't know why. I don't even know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyhow. Let's cut the crease really quick. Lighten this area up just a little bit more. Good deal. So I brought their check and I sat it down, and they paid. I brought their change. It wasn't much longer after that they had gotten up to leave, and I went over to, check the table and start cleaning everything up and all that jazz. Oh, I screwed up there. Dadgum. Okay. I see them walking out. They're all fine. They're all done. I go back in the room, into that little side room, just, get things cleaned up and all that fun stuff. And the table is an absolute freaking disaster.
Oh no!
Parents come in with their toddlers, and messes happen, but for the most part, people would clean up after their kids. They wouldn't leave, a horrendous mess. There would be something there. It's understandable, but this was like,
oops.
It was almost over the top. It was almost like they'd had a food fight. It was weird. It wasn't, and I didn't witness it. I didn't see it happening, but it was so messy. Oh, that's really pretty. It was so incredibly messy, and just food everywhere. There was food all over the table. There was food on the chairs. There was food under the table. I'm not even joking when I tell you this. It was everywhere. It was literally like they had a food fight. And I'm just kind of standing there just flabbergasted at the mess that I'm looking at. And, again, I know that people bring in toddlers and kids have fun and they don't know any, they're sweet little kids and they're having fun. They're doing their thing. But a lot of times, parents will clean up a little bit. This did not happen with Courtney at all and her friend. They left a hideous mess, and it was like, I started cleaning it, and then I had to ask a couple of busboys to come over and help me clean it, because it was so messy. It was so ridiculously filthy, just food everywhere. So it took me a while to get that handled, and in the midst of all the food mess and the plates and all the stuff everywhere, just kind of mashed in the midst of all of that, was my tip. And again, I know there were toddlers there, and babies don't know. It's entirely possible that they were playing around and had smashed the tip money into the food. It was smushed. It was like, whoa, I had to, there's an actual action of the smushing, and that was interesting. that happened that way. But what they had left was even more interesting, smashed in the food there, my tip was $1 and change.
What?
Now, the bill, it wasn't like a high dollar bill that they paid. It was mid, I would say. It was around like, I don't know, like maybe 50, maybe $60, something like that. It wasn't super up there, you know, that they ended up paying for their in food. But for a breakfast place, that's actually, you know, kind of high price. But that is, that's what they chose to leave behind. Now, when it comes to tipping, you don't have to tip if you don't want to. I know that here in California, in most restaurants, at a party of 6 or more, you automatically get a gratuity added on. But when it's 2 people or just 1 person, 3 people, you don't have to leave anything if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you if you want to tip someone or not. You know, it's like maybe you didn't like the service, or maybe you're just not someone who likes to tip. You know, that it happens. You don't have to. But for the most part, you know, most people do. And there are places around the world that don't go for tips. They don't like it. They find it offensive. I totally understand that. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like, listen, I feel like most people, you know, do absolutely tip. You know, it's customary to do so, and it's, you know, it's nice and it's appreciated. It's not necessary, but it's nice. And she chose to do that in that moment. And I think for me, I may not know a whole lot about the Kardashians and all that and the other, but I know homegirl ain't freaking broke. So I'll tell you that much. She's not hurting for cash. And I know she could have done a lot better than that. Do I think she smashed the money in there? No, I don't think she did. I think maybe one of the babies had gotten a hold of it, and that's how that happened. After running back and forth like that, and her particular personality, let's just say, you know, that was basically the icing on the cake for the most part. It was like, okay, cool. So that happened. And, you know, I just was feeling a particular way. I think what it was that bothered me about the tip was that it was almost like a slap in the face. She had this very much like she's above and I'm below, and she wanted to make that clear. And I really do believe that. And that just was the personality that I was dealing with when I was waiting on her. Now, this isn't a boo-hoo me moment. This is just really more like boo-hoo her, because it's like, dude, I hope you've improved since then. But, you know, it was just kind of like that. It was basically, it was the entitlement. It was the, we're better than you. And yeah, she wanted to make sure that I knew it, and that she was treated like, you know, absolute queendom while she was there, and could leave scraps and change and a huge mess to, you know, enjoy cleaning up after her, because she is, you know, a Kardashian. Which is like, okay. So then there was a time that they came in with the family. So it was Kris Jenner and it was Kim Kardashian, and it was a big group of them that came in. And I know they were filming that day because we were, you know, weaving in and out of the cameras and stuff like that, and no one wanted to be on camera. No one wanted to, you know, have that. At least I know I didn't. And I know that a lot of my friends there working at it, we didn't want to be on camera. So I'm almost certain that they were filming, because I remember that we were ducking in and out doing that whole deal. So I'm assuming it was for their show. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter, but the whole family was there for the most part, save for, I don't think that Khloe was there. I don't think I've ever met her, but Kourtney was there and Kim they were all there. Everybody was hanging out, having breakfast in our restaurant. And again, it was another voting moment, basically, where we were deciding who was going to deal with the table. And it was another moment that it was me. It's me again. I don't know why, but I had the dubious pleasure of waiting on the entire family. So that time, everyone was, you know, doing their thing, and I know there were cameras there, so everyone was, you know, really well behaved. No one was being any certain kind of way. The mom, Kris Kardashian, has got a very regal air about her, like, you know, she's very like royalty.
Sister's going to jail. Have a little compassion.
You know, and I don't know. It's weird. I don't really understand. Maybe you guys can let me know what it is. What is it about the Kardashians?
You don't have any, forgive me, any talent.
I don't get it. I just don't understand the whole phenomenon. I don't get the craze, but whatever, that's not really what this is about. Kim Kardashian is actually very polite. Didn't have any problem with her at all. She said, please, thank you, was, you know, and again, there were cameras, you know, a lot of times when she would come in, there were cameras involved. So maybe she was on her best behavior because there was cameras there. I know when Kourtney was there were cameras outside. There were people taking pictures and all that jazz, but no one was inside. And this was an inside deal where they were recording for the show. So she was very polite. No one was rude, and they left a normal tip. That experience went very well, and I'm glad for that. And the brother used to come in all the time, and he was always really nice. Just very calm, nice, very chill guy. Always very polite. Never had a problem with him at all. Always very sweet. So, you know, it's the whole family isn't really like that. It's just Kourtney. She's the one that I remember that was just incredibly rude and very entitled, and just not someone that I wanted to deal with. But oftentimes, I was the one that would, you know, take those tables because the kids didn't want to do it. They didn't feel comfortable, and it was just the way it was because I didn't, you know, care. As long as she didn't, you know, give me a hard time or try and have a freaking meltdown, then it didn't matter to me one way or the other. And I don't ever remember having any like major surprising, like, wow, generous tips. Not a generous person. She's just not. She's, I think that she feels that her own presence is gift enough. Truly, that's the feeling that I get from her. So moving on from the Kardashians, let's talk about another celebrity that came into our restaurant. So the girl that was waiting on the table was new. She hadn't waited tables before. She was just now getting started. She was just getting her feet wet, and she was a sweetheart, absolutely adorable, and I really enjoyed working with her. This time it was Pink. She was in the main room at a center table with her and a group of friends, and my friend, or, you know, my coworker or whatever, who was new to doing the whole waiting tables thing, really wanted to wait on the table. So I was like, you know, totally fine, good, you know, you got it. And she also had a couple tables outside, so we had split up stations all over the place. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's kind of part of the story because it's the reason why things were happening the way that it was. She was handling the table, but she was also taking care of a table that was outside. Let's say it that way. And she had her tray, and, you know, she had her drinks that she was bringing to the outside table, and she's, you know, walking by, and they're having their conversation, doing their thing, and we're all, you know, whatever. Loses balance, and the tray topples over, filled with water, plastic cups, thank God, all on top of Pink. all over, all the water all over. And after that moment happened, it was so quiet in the restaurant, you could have heard a pin drop. We were all standing there just waiting to see what was going to happen once, you know, whatever happened. And what happened was that actually Pink was pretty cool about it. She didn't freak out. She didn't yell. She didn't do anything like that, which was wonderful. What a relief, because the terror, the look in my friend's eyes, oh my gosh. And, you know, we were all much younger back then. And she was so terrified that Pink was going to freak out. She was so shocked that she had lost balance. You know, it's, you know, tray service, it takes a while to learn. It's not something that, you know, happens right away. You got to find your center, get your balance and all that. And she was so new. She didn't know, you know, she was still learning, and it was, you know, something that it happens. You try for it not to happen, but it does happen. Pink got totally soaked. I mean, just from head to toe. It was, oh God, it was terrible. It was terrible. It would have been terrible if it happened to anybody. I mean, really, but the fact that it was her, I think it just made it that much more, because at the time, again, it was a big deal. She was, you know, a pretty big deal. Still is. And people still really, I know I enjoy a lot of her songs and stuff like that. It's all fine and good. I ain't got no problem with the lady. But back then, it was something. And yeah, just so grateful that didn't go as horribly as it could have, because she could have freaked out if she wanted to. She could have had a total meltdown, but you know, she kept her composure. She stayed cool, and literally was probably a little chilly. But yeah, and was totally calm about it. I'm gonna hop off camera and I'm gonna zhuzh the rest of my face a little bit, hop back on, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So I'll be right back. Okay. All right, so here we are. So liner, lashes are on, and I did a little sprucing up because I felt like I wanted a little more pop in the eyeshadow, so I grabbed my JD Glow. I totally dug into this, which is really sad. I just kind of tapped a little bit of that on my lid just to give it that extra bit of sparkle, and I love it. So I'm super good with that. So I want to circle back instead of going into more celebrities today, and we'll share some more later on. And I want to go back to the tip portion of the program, just to make it clear, because I don't want anyone thinking that. I don't want y'all feeling a certain way. I mean, you can feel however way you want to, but as a server, I just want to make sure that I explain this to anyone who may not understand. If you are a server and you work for tips, you know that you don't really count on your paycheck, because you're getting taxed not only as you would normally get taxed, but you're getting taxed for your tips as well. So Uncle Sam already has an idea of what you're making, and whether you get that tip or not, you're still having that taken out of your paycheck. So that was really, that's really my thing that I try to remain aware of when I go out, because I've experienced it myself. Because at the end of the work week, when you get your paycheck, it's really not that much to speak of. I'm being totally flat out honest. If you've never waited tables before, then you can imagine why I'm using this small mirror to put on my, I don't even know what the hell I'm thinking. Let me grab this. I can't see anything. So I need this to see my whole face. Okay, so it's just not, your paycheck is not something that you live on. It's not going to help you. The reason why people will wait tables is so that they can get tipped, because that's where you make your real money. So when someone who is of that stature, someone who has any kind of celebrity, someone like that comes in where you know that they're not hurting, and they leave a tip like that, it's just so wrong. I mean, it's like, how do I say it? It's just so effed up. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just not a good way to be, and again, you don't have to if you don't want to, but the fact of the matter is that, well, you should, you just should. So that's my thing about that, is that it just makes it harder as a server to make a living if you don't get tipped. It's a part of the job. It's a part of how you make your money. That's a part of your income. So it is important. And, again, I don't want to sound like okay, if I talk and do this at the same time, it's going to be bad. Yeah. Wow. That is, this is a lip gloss from Juvia's Place. This is an incredibly opaque, beautiful lip gloss slash lipstick, and I absolutely love this. I love this. This is beautiful. So guys, this is the finished look, and this is the end of the video. I hope you guys liked today's story. I hope you guys are liking these videos. Please let me know in the comments. Give this video a like if you feel like it. Subscribe if you want to. That would be amazing. I always appreciate spending time with each and every one of you. I appreciate you. I love you. I hope you are safe, and I hope you all are having a beautiful day. Thanks. Bye.